look at me, I'm what you see. But can you tell the price in heat? I can tell you what I need. But 20 quid will buy a bottle of tea.
2, 1, and
Go.
Boom. How are you feeling? Nervous?
I'm
anxious?
super nervous. Yes. Where do I look, here or there?
You can look at this as a candid conversation.
Okay.
You know, even though we're fully aware that something's recording.
Okay. That's like weird.
Okay,
Perfect.
so why don't you enlighten those who are listening about who Divya Upadhyay is?
Okay. So who am I? Good question. So I am a 26-year-old woman living here in Dubai. I came here 4 years back. I started working with a startup. So before this, I used to work with. I was a cabin crew with Jet Airways. So that's pretty much what I've done as work. But me as an individual, I'm an introvert. I love going out for hikes. I love breakfast. So that's pretty much about me. I like to read, and I like helping people. I don't do a lot of that, but yeah, that's about me. These are a few things I really like, and I also like my family. So few things.
So family-oriented girl who's an introvert.
Very much, yeah.
I mean, you know, I would never get that from the content that you put out, because the way I got in touch with you was basically seeing the kind of things you put out, and you hit one massive nail on the head, which is relatability.
Yeah.
You know, it was funny, but it wasn't something that was like OTT hilarious, OTT skit related, but just little everyday things that we can relate to, quirks like the email thing. And you know, I think the one that I really resonated with was the one you posted about Tinder. Like, you know, when people get on Tinder, you don't have to shame them for it. Like, you know, just let them be. Like, girls get on Tinder and do that. And I feel like a lot of people miss out on that in Dubai, right? Like, everyone thinks that when a guy says, hey, I'm matched with so many girls on Tinder, or
it's cool.
It's really cool. And when girls do the same thing, it's frowned down upon, and I never understood that logic.
Yeah.
And I'm probably a bona fide man whore on Tinder. Like, trust me. There was a while where I did it just because I wanted to make it look cool, that okay, there's numbers, and then I was like, okay, I sound like a piece of shit when I say that.
These many matches I've got,
Not even matches, it's just the fact that as a guy, I felt that I could talk about hookups a lot easier than, you know,
makes sense.
Than chicks could.
But
like,
I think you can't do much because the culture here is as such that there are a lot of people coming in, mix of nationalities. So sometimes I would just go, I work into events. So sometimes when I was on Tinder this one phase, so I would just go for events, and this was more of like Indians or Pakistanis, and you know, that kind of like where I come from. So there's this one guy, he's like, oh, I saw you on Tinder. I was like, okay, that's so embarrassing. And he gave me like a very weird look. And I was like, okay, I think this is not going to go well, because if I enter into events and if they see me that, okay, I matched this girl on Tinder, that's going to be very weird, because their mentality is very different about Tinder.
True.
And the same when I started talking to, like, you know, someone I would meet for at a different events, and they're like white people, they'd be like, yeah, big deal, you're on Tinder, oh, I saw you here, I saw you there, and they're so pretty chill about it, like It's not a big deal. So that's something I saw, and I know a couple of my friends, they met on Tinder, they've been dating, they're going really strong, but they told their parents that they met somewhere, they met in the gym, and they tell the same story to their friends. I was like, why don't you guys tell everyone you all met on Tinder? It's like, oh, they're not going to understand, they're going to judge us. I was like, okay, what's to judge? Like, you're a good guy on Tinder, she's a good girl on Tinder, that's pretty much good enough. That you both are good people, then there are a lot of good people on Tinder. But yeah, that was like one of the things which I thought does make sense. So yeah, that's why I thought I'd make something out of it.
You've previously stated that one of the things that you really like to do is put out content that people in their 20s can relate to.
Yeah. So the Instagram page, I started this whole blogging thing exactly a year ago, where I just had like 800 followers. This is my friends and family. Yeah, this is my friends and family following me, and that's where I used to just go to these cute cafes, wear post good pictures, wear good clothes. So that's what I was doing, is basically lifestyle content. And then last year I went through a lot of changes, a lot of things happened in my personal life, work, and a lot of other things. So that's when, you know, I realized that I thought that my problems are a lot. Like, okay, I'm going through a breakup, and, you know, I'm not liking this thing at work. My family, I have so many issues with my family. And that put me in really like a very depressed state. Like, that was the lowest low I've ever been. So when I was going through that, my sister was like, why don't you, like, you know, this is something you should do. You always be like, I'm an introvert, you don't meet people, you don't hang out with people, just go out, speak to them. It would really help you understand a lot about life, and not just work. So I started going out, meeting people, and I would just meet this random person in a bar or something, and we'd just talk about like random conversation. How's the weather? Who are you dating? Where do you work? And from that, I would figure out that everybody is like, we are in the same age group of 20s. We all go through the same problems. It's like everyone's going through a breakup. You've been through a breakup. She's been through, I've been through, like everyone. And then everyone has problems at work. We all face issues with money. I don't know a thing about credit card. I don't know how to pay taxes, like basic stuff in life. We all go through it. And I used to think that, okay, it's just me. So when I started talking, I was like, yeah, there's like everyday shit for everyone. I go through it, you go through it. Let's just start talking about it and, you know, just make fun of your problems, basically. So that's where this whole thing started, and that's why I think it's like more relatable, because these are like everyday problems which everyone goes through. So yeah, that's where the thing came from.
I think you found an extremely good niche over there. It's money problems that drive you to do more.
Exactly,
right? Like,
yeah.
And when you discuss that out there and you kind of make it a more public thing, and people don't feel insecure about it anymore. They're like,
Exactly.
oh, we're all broke and poor.
Exactly.
You know, it's not a special thing.
Yeah.
It's not just me. Like, it plagues others as well.
Yes.
So it's good to open a dialogue about that. And that's kind of what the podcast is about as well. You know, like in a way, it's about discussing different topics and fields that people may or may not be interested in, and also just shed light on things that have worked for people, like methods and strategies. Like, you know, we've had a guy who was into biohacking, a guy who's into niche marketing, TikTok marketing, someone who's into mandalas and meditation, and, you know, we talked about spirituality, so many things, because these are things we realize at this age. Like, if someone comes to me and starts talking spirituality when I was 18, I'd be like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And like 20s is such a weird phase, because you're
where you
open to
get
a lot of
exactly
things. You know?
And you know, that's where you get exposed to so many things, be it work, friends, traveling, and that's when you meet people, you broaden your horizon. So yeah, I can totally relate to that.
So what sort of problems, or what sort of, like, I would say, topics do you like talking about in general? Like, you know, is it finance? Is it relationships? Is it behavior? Is it ethics? Is it something to get you through jobs? Or do you have a favorite sub niche at all?
I wouldn't say there's any favorite niche as such, but it's just mostly whatever problems I'm going through. Really, like my content is literally something that's happened to me yesterday.
Awesome.
I just think about it and I was like, I think I can put it in a reel. So yesterday I put up a reel where I was just talking about, so, you know, a girl on my Instagram is like, oh, life is going to be so much fun. I'm 21 now, life is going to be fun. And I was like, what the, like, she doesn't even know it's not going to be fun. So I just used that into making a reel. And yeah, people really found it funny. So it's just whatever's happening, I think I can create a content out of it, and that pretty much does the job. So when I started, I was going through a breakup. So I used to make like a lot of because that's something I could relate to. So I used to make a lot of relationships and money problems that time. Like, why do you, like, you are broke and you are heartbroken? These are only things you talk about. I was like, what the hell do you mean? Everyone is broken, everyone is heartbroken. I'm just talking about it. Doesn't mean I'm like so depressed in life. But yeah, whatever.
It's okay to talk about it. Like, it's okay to, you know, not be super taboo about it, you know, or like just There's this common notion that all breakups are unhealthy or, they're very dramatic, but that's not always the case, people can talk about it. People can encourage breakups without actually having to shit on their ex, like not every breakup is about, fuck my ex, she's such a bitch, this, or like, oh, my ex completely fucked my life over. Everyone thinks that's how you are, like you're a bewafa guy after a breakup. Like that's not always true. Like,
yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, I think, what you said, there's so much taboo about it. Like, oh, you've gone through a breakup, sad, this is sad, that's sad. Of course, it is sad. I'm not saying it's not. But, people do find it a little weird. Or, okay, now she's woken up, so she's not posting more on Instagram. So that's why she's sharing these kind of pictures or those kind of pictures. But I just realized no matter what you do, people are just going to talk about it. Like if you put something good, they'll be like, why are you talking about one good? Why are you not talking about two good? If you do two, they'll be like, why are you doing two? Why are you not doing three? So you just do what you like. I don't think it really matters.
So when you discuss these personal relationships, right, on a public platform, how open are you to people? How open are you to the fact that people could potentially reach out to you just to have a chat with you, like in a sense that you talk about a breakup, for example, and like someone goes like, oh fuck yeah, I also relate to this, and then do you ever see that sometimes that could be like a portal to a conversation or a relationship with someone completely random that you'd never ever expect to talk to, and all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, that's one other person in this world who you share a weird connection with because you've been through a similar experience.
Yeah.
And are you ever open to that sort of connection? You being an introvert and you put out this content that's viewed by so many people. How is that overwhelming sometimes if people just message you and just decide to talk to you? Like,
actually not. So this has happened to me a couple of times. I think a lot more than that. So, like I said, once my sister, she's like, why don't you go out and, meet new people? That was not just about breakup. Honestly, it's not the breakup that affected me. There was like, there's this phase in life where you're just trying to figure everything out and you set like super high expectations that once you reach 25, you need to have that car, you need to move out of your house. You need to have that much money in your account and these XYZ, you need to have that boyfriend or that bag and all of that. And when you're 25, you realize none of it is true. Like there's nothing that's coming. You have to work hard for another 5 years to reach that, whatever expectations you have. So I think I was going through that phase where my work, it was going great, but not how I wanted it to go, how I wanted it to be, and neither my personal life, my relationship, even that was suffering. So I was like, okay. So I think that was the phase, not really the relationship or heartbroken. So my sister is like, why don't you go out, figure out your life. When you meet people, you realize that it's not you. There are a lot of other people who are in the same boat and nobody has a perfect life. We're all going through problems. So when I started going out, and it was so weird. I remember this one girl I had met random at a friend's party, and she had a similar story like mine. Like whatever I was going through, she was going through the same. And I was like, that is so weird. Like, it's not just me. There's a lot of people who are going through the same shit. And I could connect with her. Like, she looked like someone I knew. And I was like, what? This is really weird. So that really helped me to understand that it's okay. You're not only one. There are a lot of people who go through breakup. Calm down. Get your shit together. Just, Do
you have sustained relationships with these people? Like, do you still remain good friends with them? Or is it just like a one-off thing where you like just meet them, go like, thanks for relating to my content? Or like, do you actually have
like on friendship? Social media?
Through social media and through the content that you've made. I just have curiosity.
Honestly, I'm a very introvert person. I don't think I can literally count the number of friends I have, and that would be one or two, and out of which one would be my sister. So I'm not a very friends person, but I do like to connect with people. If there is something I can help someone with, I don't mind, but I don't think I go out building friendships. Like I'm someone who likes to help. So I think when we met, we started talking about social media. So, I don't mind doing that. Maybe I can go on a call with you and give you like a 2 hours gyan of how to do things on social media. But when it comes to being friends, I don't think I'll just call even for 20 seconds. So.
Fair enough. And I feel like the older you grow, the harder it is to actually have a friend that you can connect with for a long time. It's something that I'm actively willing to sort of change because conversely, I've had weird relationships where as we age and as we grow, sometimes I've outgrown friends and I'm like, well, I've known this guy for 10 years, like he knows me inside and out, but we've reached an impasse where I can't really fuck with you anymore, like and that changes, and then all of a sudden someone I knew from a year ago, whether it's through podcasts or whether it's through my social networking, all of a sudden I'm talking to them and I'm like, dude, you're like the guy I'm now calling 4 times a week to just talk about shit too, right? And I find that to be an amazing thing about this whole social media game and putting content out, or like in content creation. Personal relationships aside, talk to me about financial freedom and management. Like, when did this strike you? Like, when did you start becoming conscious and more serious about maintaining a sense of financial responsibility and having a healthy relationship with money and whatnot?
Okay, so a little bit about my background. So I've been brought up, it's in my family, I have my sister, my mom and me. So my mom she's a single mother. She's worked really hard to get us wherever we are. And because of that, I know the importance of money since a very young age. Like literally since I was 9, 10, I knew that money is very important. You need to take care of it because it doesn't come easy. You have to work really hard for it. So I've seen my sister, she started working when she was 14. I started working when I was 18, and I took distance learning and I started working and then giving my exams and all. So I would say that value, like the respect for money, that okay, this is something really important. I can't be going out shopping whatever I like and splurging money. I can't be doing that because I knew the importance. But when it comes to, there's a lot of difference between you actually realizing that money is important, which I realized pretty early. But when it actually comes to managing, that is not easy, because I figured that this is not something that's been taught anywhere. For example, my school, I know a lot of subjects like history, geography, or blah blah blah. It is important, but I think in today's world, money is more important.
Absolutely.
And that should be given you. Like, if I just go down now to the grocery store, there is no way I'm going to the cashier and being like, oh, I know the theorem from maths, can you give me a pack of chips? He's not.
Yeah.
So I mean, money is such an important thing, but they don't teach you about it. And personal finance, like, something as basic as how to use a credit card, like that is so simple. I mean, that is so important these days. Like when I remember when I got my first credit card, I just maxed out shopping this, shopping that, only to realize that okay, now I have to pay, and this is how I have to pay. So about money, I learned at a very young age, but managing money, that is something I think I'm still learning. I read a lot of books, I try to understand, I follow a lot of people. But I think it would have been great if I would have learned it earlier. But yeah, still learning. It's a process.
I agree, because my thing with money was really weird, because growing up, I had an allowance of like 400 dirhams a month, right? And you have your college expenses, you want to go drinking, you want to do a lot of shit. And I was always tight with money, right? How much have I understood that, look, I live a pretty privileged life, my parents are well-to-do and whatnot. And then I spent 2 years in the US, right? And I saw how hard people work for money over there. It's a completely different dynamic. There are people who are in high school, who are flipping burgers, who are making pizzas, who deliver things. There's no ego about it. Nobody goes like, you're just a delivery boy, you're a McDonald's worker. Nobody says anything. There's so much pride in the work they do, because it's an honest living, it's an honest earning, right? Yeah. And I was working as a receptionist, I was doing a lot of shit. Like, that's when I finally earned. And I was like, shit, khud ka paisa hai, And sometime down in 2019, I was like, okay, I want to figure out what this investing thing is. And my mom is extremely conservative. She's a CA. She's been leading finance for Emirates NBD for a very long time. Okay. She was. And every time I told her about stocks, this and that, she's like, no, I'm not going to let you do anything. So it took me
like a not safe kind of.
She was like, mutual funds is everything.
Yeah.
So I started slowly putting money, started getting returns, fucked up, made mistakes, lost money, earned more than I lost.
Ask me about it. I did it with cryptocurrency.
And I'm doing it right now. Like, that's the thing. So back then in 2019, I was like, Mom, we should get into Bitcoin. We should do Ethereum. She's like, fuck you. You're not putting my money in that shit. Right? And it took all the way until I graduated and I had my own money. I was like, okay, I want to start day trading and doing other shit. In that time, I was investing my mom's money. I was getting her returns. And she's like, okay, I can trust this guy with shit. You know? And I started making better financial decisions through that. And the moment I took that responsibility, my parents were like, okay, this guy might do 100 stupid things, but like he'll take care of himself.
Yeah.
And then I earned my own money, and I was like, whatever my mom didn't allow. From Dubai, you can't day trade in Indian markets. So I earned, kept saving up, and opened a brokerage account for the US market.
Oh wow, okay.
Started trading in that, made money, and lost so much more money. But I was like, fuck it. I would rather lose money and try at this age, see what works, what doesn't at 22, because like I'm putting money in it which I can afford to lose. At the end of the day, people do not understand the value of money when it comes to teaching you a life lesson.
Exactly.
Like you're ready to spend $500 buying your Louis Vuitton and your other shit, right?
Yeah.
Now, I recently realized a $500 loss. Okay, I pulled out of all my bad positions. I said, fuck it, I'm going to take this money, put it in a Tesla or something that's going to grow over 3 months and get my money back.
Yeah.
I'm not even afraid. But the moment I took that $500 loss, I didn't feel a difference. I was like, this is a lesson in life.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you read that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
I was going to ask you if I can borrow yours because I don't have it.
Oh, okay. So there's this exact same story there. So this guy, he talks about his friend, how his, so a friend of his was telling him that, my son, he's just gotten out of college and he wants this expensive car, and he's so adamant that I have to get it for him because he's my son, now I have to do it. So this guy suggests him that why don't you put a condition in front of him that I buy you this car which is expensive, but you have to take this course which is about investments. So you take this course, you do it like for whatever days it was, and only then I buy you this car. So the dad spent somewhere around $500 to get his son enrolled into this course. Son went for the course and he got back saying that I don't want to get the car because I want whatever money you're going to put in the car, just give me that money, I'm going to put it into investments.
Absolutely.
So the story was that the dad was scared that firstly I want to buy the car and now I have to invest 500 more, but it's again, you're teaching your son a life lesson. If he gets it, good. If he doesn't, you keep trying.
As far as cars are concerned, a lot of people make the argument that it's a depreciating asset. It's not something that's going to appreciate in value unless you're buying classic cars and shit.
Yeah.
Now, the key thing over there is that for a lot of people, they buy cars because they want to impress others. They buy shit that it's a simple age-old saying. They buy shit that they can't afford to impress people they don't like with money they don't have.
Yeah.
Right? And I refuse to buy into that. Like I do not have a lot of branded shit, but I spend on my shoes sometimes. I don't mind spending 600 dirhams on shoes, not to flex because I feel comfortable in it. I'm happy in it. I'll do it. Like, I'm going, like, not that everyone needs to know, but it's not, I'm not going through the best of times right now. And I had the smallest things, smallest financial decisions that went well give me happiness. Like I fucked up in the whole like $400 loss. I literally made that money for my mom, not for me. I don't understand. I make my mom way more money. I lose money on my end.
I think she's lucky for you.
I'm telling you, I'm just going to start investing her money now because I told her that okay, can we please get into crypto? There was I've seen Ethereum and Doge and Bitcoin dip and go up. I'm like, fuck it, I want to buy it. So we bought Ethereum at this dip and we're at like a $500, $600 profit. And I was just like, okay, that's my expenses for the month. Like I want to go enjoy a good time. I have absolutely no problem.
Oh my God.
Doing that, take your own passive income and splurge it on your experiences. Like, come on, you've got to enjoy life. I'm not a part of that train of thought where, you just keep money, you hoard it in and don't do shit with it. Fuck no. I love growing money and I want to, I want to make sure my earned money goes towards something that can take care of me. I want protection. I want safety, security. That's where my earned income goes to. Like I will drop 5k on camera equipment and not even fucking think about it. But 5k on a staycation to throw a party, I'll be like, no, that's the stupidest thing to do.
See, I think it really depends what makes you happy. But I am a strong believer that just because whatever background I had, the way I started, now I know that how important money is. But past couple of years, I got into this thing that okay, I'm gonna buy that bag, I'm gonna save this and I want that expensive bag, this expensive bag. But then I did it for 2 years and I just realized that I was just swiping my credit card and I was not saving money and I was just splurging money on stupid things. And now after a lot of spending, I've come to realization that why am I even doing this? For me, it is important to look good, look confident, and that I can do it even if I buy that same bag which is from a cheaper brand. It doesn't make sense. Why does it have to be branded for, as long as you're confident, you're smart, that's all you need. So I think it took me a while. I had a good couple of years where I started splurging money, but now I've calmed myself down, so I don't go for brands. I keep myself subtle, and I was like, yeah, you don't need all these things in life. Maybe you can invest in better things.
No, it just comes down to if you like it, right? You're not doing it to rub other people's faces in it.
But
like,
when you're young and when you're new to like the society where you start going out, working and all of that, you get into that thing where, okay, that person's wearing, that girl's wearing, so even I want those kind of heels.
We all feel insecure from time to time, and that comes out
exactly
in these areas.
And I think it's just a phase where people go through it, and they just want to be fit, try to fit in somewhere because you think that it's going to be good if I try to fit in, but then you realize that, okay, that's not me, wearing that expensive thing, carrying that expensive bag just for the sake of it, it doesn't make sense. So I think it's just a process. You get into it, you realize, and then you get out of it.
So a key takeaway and a message that you'd like to spread as far as personal relationships go in your 20s, right? What would that be? What's like the most important thing you learned, or something that you like, if you have to tell someone this is something that I learned, and feel free to use this information, because you won't believe this, a lot of things you go through, people like you and me go through, a lot of others can as well, like, and you don't have to be a Jay Shetty or someone to like go through it, right?
Exactly,
like it just be you and me. So, and that's what the podcast has always been about, like, just everyday members of our community going through shit. And if you had to take one or two key takeaways from personal relationships, whether it's dating or friendships or whatever, what is something important you've learned about that in your 20s so far?
I think one thing, now this is what always gets me out of shit, is if there's something I'm going through, be it a problem in relationship or a problem in work or whatever, there's just two things. One is, I always tell myself, Divya, it's a phase. Like, that really helps you, that this thing is not gonna last forever, it's just a fucking phase. Like, calm down, it's okay, it happens to everyone, it's normal. So that really helps me. It gives you hope that it's a phase, max like a month or two or a year, and then it will just pass. And then second is, just don't stop trying. Like, I'll give you my example now. A few days back I went for my driving test, and this year my resolution was just one, to get myself a driving license, because I've been here for long and you know how difficult it is to get one here. And I went for my exam, I failed. So I failed twice, and I was in tears. Like, I was like, why is this happening to me? Like, I really want it so badly, and it's just random things I would fuck up with. But then I realized that it's okay. All you have to do is just get up the next day. Don't feel demotivated or sad. Just get up and make sure you try again. That's it. So yeah, two things I always remind myself is, it's a phase, it will pass. And second is, don't stop trying. Like, if you want to be happy, you have to keep trying. If you want to make money, you have to keep trying. If you want to improve your relationship with your boyfriend or a girlfriend, you have to keep trying.
Keep trying for shit.
Yeah, so you just keep trying. Like, if you want something, keep trying. You'll get it. That's it.
I like that, because like but during the pandemic, one of the things that really affected me was the fact that I couldn't go out and do shit. So I wasn't really exposed to too many people. So it gave me a good time to introspect and like, consume a lot of content when it came to personal development. So like one of those biggest lessons I learned was, just do shit for yourself, because there's so much in this world. Like video and that also just passes into that second thing, which is to give. Just keep giving. I questioned the fucking logic behind it, but the more I gave, the more I got back. It's not like I wanted more back, it just happened. And I just get so much joy in giving.
I think, now I'll just share a small story. So when I was 18, I went for my first interview, which was for a cabin crew in back home, Mumbai. So I was a geek, I was a nerd, I was a tomboy. I knew nothing about makeup. I was not at all a girly kind of a girl. Like, I knew nothing, and I'm going for a cabin crew interview, and I don't know, they found me really smart out. There were like 150 women in that room, and we were just 4 of us who got through that interview.
No way.
So yeah, and when I started my training, I was shit when it comes to grooming or makeup and doing those hair and all of that. And there were like so many people who would just be there to put you down, like, you look this, you look that. They don't want to help you, they just want to put you down. So that's when I realized one thing, that there are two kind of people, like two types of people. One is people treat you wrong, and then you get this attitude that okay, I got treated wrong when I was there, and now I'm going to do the same to people. And the second type is, which I believe I like to be, is I got treated a certain way, so I'm going to make sure I don't treat someone else
Absolutely.
the way I got treated. So that's that one thing I learned there, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to be that second person. I went through shit, so I want to make sure nobody else goes through that shit.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree with that. That's one of the key things I learned too.
Yeah.
And if you had to sort of, share one of your most important financial learnings, because we discussed it, but like if there's one key takeaway, if like there's so many, if there are 20-year-olds watching this, people who don't realize it, and if you could go back to your 20-year-old self to sort of give them more advice on financial awareness and personal finance management, what would you tell that 20-year-old Divya?
20, okay. I have a list, but I'm just gonna keep it short. So I think to start with, one is make myself aware that why is it important. That is very, very, very important. I would have read a lot of books, so I would suggest people that even when you're 20s or when you're 18, you're 19, you should start reading about it, understand why is it important. And second is start saving money. Like there has to be, even if you earn 100 dirhams, you need to make sure that you save 10 or 20 out of it. Like even if it's as small as that, you need to start saving. And then the later part is investments, blah 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 blah, that comes later. But I think these are two important things. One is always keep learning. You're never too young or never too old to learn about money. It's gonna always be part of your life. And then second is start saving when you're young, and then maybe learn about investments later whenever you've saved enough money. So I think these two things I wish I knew earlier, or I wish I started doing pretty soon in life, but I didn't. So now I make reels about it.
I get a hell of a lot of views on it as well, and get featured on Dubai Problems. Nice.
Oh yes. So
Get that clout.
That thing went pretty crazy. The thing that I shared today. Yeah. I almost got 2,000 people sharing it.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, if I could go back, I'd just tell myself, fucking invest in crypto. Get that Bitcoin money, get that Ethereum money. Should have gotten on Ethereum when it was $300. Fuck.
I know. And my experience, when Elon Musk started this whole Doge thing, I invested when it was 0.35. And I was like, okay, to the moon. I was like, fuck, there's no moon here. It dropped to point something.
Now it's oscillating about 20.
Yeah, 20. I was like, what the hell? But yeah, you wait. You gain some, you lose.
Are you still on it?
I am,
still
of
in
course,
it? Good. It stays. Look, at some
yeah.
point it's going to spike. Musk is going to say something stupid, and I wish I got it on crypto earlier. I wish I convinced my parents and told them that I was smart to do this. And
no. I haven't lost money as such, but yeah.
No, I mean, see, look, you can never get into investing without losing money. And that's the biggest confidence that I got, because when I first invested for my mom, which is something that I would tell anyone. Like, if your parents have money, look, touch wood, we're in a place where our parents can afford to say, you know what, let's do a trust experiment with my kid. Like, I'll give my kid like 30,000 rupees. That's 1,500 dirhams, right? I think anyone in your position, like if your nephew grows up and goes like, hey, aunt, listen, I want to try something. I want to, try something bold. Can you give me 1,500 dirhams to experiment with it? Because you don't get that opportunity. Because society trains to keep you down no matter how smart you are, because you need stupid things like a job, like a job certificate that you're working. You can pay this money back. You don't have access to money that easily.
Yeah.
So, if more people could approach their parents for even a little amount of money to try and make something productive out of it, or if they can save their own money into it, I would definitely recommend investing, but only after you have your emergency fund. Like, you need an emergency fund before investing.
I think before investing or, getting into all these, like, investment, I still feel is a big word for me. Like, it's a lot, but the basics, because I feel my basics aren't right, and from what I understand when I talk to people, I just realize the people have not got their basics right. Investment is like a next thing. Whatever you have 100 dirhams today, you're like, okay, what do I do with it? Like, you have 1,000 dirhams, what do I do with it? I want to invest because everyone's talking about crypto, so they all want to get into it. But your basics are not right, like saving money. How do you manage your expense? That's first you save money, then you...
Yeah.
So I never really talk about investment because that's too much for me. For me, basics are pretty important. How do you use a simple credit card? Now I'll tell you my story. It is so funny. I'm gonna make a reel about it of how to lose money. Like this is the best way you can lose money. So I got a credit card. I had I got a 1,000 dirhams credit on it. So because it was a good card, so I used that 1,000 dirhams to invest in Doge, of course. So of course the coin dropped. So whatever money I'd put, I kind of lost the money there. And then I didn't just spend 1,000 because you have to convert into dollars. I spent 35 dirhams extra. So I spent 1,035 dirhams on my cryptocurrency. After a week, I get a message that you owe the bank 35 dirhams. Like, yeah, whatever, it's just 35. I'll pay it off, blah, blah, blah. And then I forgot about it, like how millennials do. Next month, I get a message that now I owe the bank 258 dirhams.
What?
Yes.
Oh, late fees.
Late fees. I was like, what the hell? So imagine that's how... I'm sure a lot of people can relate from it. So I had 1,000 dirhams, which was free cash. I could make money out of it, but I did a wrong investment. I lost my money there. Plus now I owe the bank 258 dirhams. I was like, that's a example of how not to lose money. Like, I don't think I can give solutions, but I can give people so many problems that can inspire them to...
Like, just keep a lookout for it so that it doesn't happen to you. Like, learn from other people's experience so that that same shit doesn't happen to you. Like, that's, again, something that this podcast is around. Like, people have been through shit. People have been through certain experiences and people are talking about it. So just kind of be aware of it. Like, I've personally never had a credit card. But I did see an interesting video where someone recommended that they will never use a debit card purely because when you look at the math behind it, right? One, when you let your money sit in a bank, you're losing out to inflation. So, you know, your interest versus inflation isn't actually covered. You're actually losing money by letting it sit in a bank. Now, obviously, people need to learn how to save before they can invest, manage their expenses, manage their operating cash flow, their operating expenses so they can see, and then focus on your savings and whatnot. Like, once you get into a stable thing, I'm hoping to get a credit card because I know that I will pay it off in time. Based on, you know, my operating income. But ideally, the ideal financial situation would always be, you know, say you make 10k a month, right? You have like 3-4k in expenses in your credit card, pay that off with the 10k, right? You put around 2-3k a month on, you know, on your savings or whatever, and you invest another 2k just into small funds if possible. But the pro of doing that is that when you look at it, all your earned money and your savings and whatnot is earning interest and it's growing somewhere, and whatever money that you're spending, you're not spending your money. You know, you're not like emptying your thing and then replenishing it, as opposed to that is growing, and the credit card money is just money that you're borrowing. You're spending someone else's money for other shit, and you're able to replace that with your earned income, and that's a genius method, like as long as you have financial control.
See, that's as long as you have financial control. I think the only way banks make money is because people don't have financial control.
Absolutely.
So that is something comes because of I would say lack of awareness, because that's the case. That is my story, and I know my colleagues, my friends, we all go through this, that lack of awareness, I would say, is because you don't get to, people don't talk about money. That is first. You would never, you will ask me everything, but the last thing you would ask me is how much do you make, or like, you know, people don't talk about money. It's such a taboo thing. So I think once people start talking about it, everyone's going to be more open, and that would solve the whole issue of how this whole system thing works. So yeah, I think that.
So if you have to bring about some sort of change to the platform and through the things that you do on social media, what sort of impact do you hope to have? Like, you know, you make all these reels. Do you have any sort of end goal, or do you just do it because, you know, it's fun?
Both. So no, my main goal is that I want to come up with a plan where I already have a plan where I want to invite people on my platform where we start. So see, I am not that smart as a person. I am only smart enough that I've understood the problem but I don't have the solutions. I don't have a solution of how you can manage that credit card or how you can do that crypto investment, but I know that there is some problem there. So my goal is to get people on board, to get experts on board who can talk about it and who can guide these people who are in their 20s and just who are a little lost. So that can be anything, be it relationship, not just money, relationship, money, confidence, or your career, get a mentor to guide you. So all these things. So my goal is that I don't think there's just one thing that's important. It's not money, it's not relationship, it's not career, it's everything. How do you create that balance? That's what gets you through life, right? A lot of money won't get you through life. You need to have like a stable work-life balance, or you need to have a career that makes you happy. So I just think that a balance of all these things, if I can do that through my platform, where let's say there's a 20-year-old who comes to my platform, he goes through my reels, he'll see, oh, okay, she's a cool girl, she's posting like funny problems, okay, I can relate to that. And maybe then they go to my IGTV and then they see, okay, there's a solution here, there's someone talking about personal finance, there's someone talking about relationships. So they find a problem, then they find a solution to it as well. So that is my goal, that I want to create a platform where they can find both, and something that's relatable, which is a normal everyday problem. I don't want to inspire someone to be a millionaire or a billionaire, because if you have that thing in you, you don't need me, you don't need anyone. But yeah, something as simple as just basic life skills, how to live.
And not enough people have a common enough platform to discuss those many problems and that plethora of experiences that other people have. And if you have a platform where you can get knowledge about anything from managing a relationship to managing your personal finance or finding spirituality, similar to what Ranveer Alabadia does. Like I really appreciate his podcast for that. And it's very focused, and it's a very nice platform.
It's a very millennial focused thing that kind of covers all,
and it's very relatable. He gets some spiritual leaders, he gets other people on board, and he's able to have these discussions which people can easily relate to, and you kind of get what you hear. He kind of brings about the side of celebrities whom you'd normally see in movies. You'd see them in larger than life situations, but he manages to appropriately humanize them and their experiences, so that at one point you're like, oh my god, Saif Ali Khan and I have been through something similar. Shit, he got out of that doing this. Now I can do that.
Exactly.
You're not talking about, oh, how many chicks did you bang? Like, it's not that. It's so much more,
So see, that's exactly why I wanted to start talking about problems, and just problems that you go through when you are in your 20s. So my problems have definitely been money, career, my relationship with my family, or relationships in general. So I just think these are 4 or 5 basic problems that everyone goes through. So I just want to talk about them and see if there is any way I can give solution, because I believe in balance, and I like to have that balance in my life. If I'm stressed about money and then I'm trying to be happy with my Instagram, I won't be. So I need to have that balance in everything, and that's how I think pretty much a decent, simple life works, that all the aspects of your life are balanced. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to create. But I think I've kind of found the balance, so maybe I'm in that position to help other people around.
I look forward to that, and I really hope your platform grows, and you've been so clear about it. It's good to see that you're a woman with a plan, like that you've got it charted out, and I think you're already on a great sort of course to achieve that. And I can't wait to see what you've got planned for a lot of people, and you're juggling so many things with the job and your own sort of influencer life, and I hate putting it in that way. I know it's not influencer, but it's very positive influencing. It's not bougie, it's not superficial. It's very genuine. Like, I feel like the person that I see behind the reels is exactly who I'm talking to right now. It's
such
not
a compliment.
It's not someone who's just super bougie and cool in their reels and their content, and then when you meet them in real life, they're a completely different person. Not good or bad, but just completely different. So I think that genuineness in your behavior is what's going to kind of get you there. So
thank you for that. So because these are my values, that I'm a very simple girl. I have simple problems in life, and I like to deal with them in a very I like to simplify things. So for me, it's just what it is, and that's what I try to put it out, that I don't want to be someone fancy. I don't want to be putting something that I can't relate to, and that's exactly why I feel so many people can relate to it, because
Absolutely.
I put my true self out and they were like, yeah, I think I go through this too. So yeah.
Hey, you're going to kill it over there. And for those that are listening, you want to drop your Instagram handle for them. They're going to see it. It's going to be there in the descriptions. But like, where can people find you on Instagram?
So guys, follow me on Let's Detox. So there's a little story behind this name. So I wanted to start talking, like just talk about things I have in life. So detox, as in D, my name Divya, and then talks. And then I realized that it also kind of goes well with detox, like DETOX.
Absolutely.
And I was like, yeah, that's gonna be good, right? And life in your 20s is not just about learning. It's a lot of unlearning of the stupid things that you've been taught in school, colleges, friends, family. I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Like, this is your detox, where we're gonna be unlearning a lot of things and learning a lot of things.
Yeah,
So,
I feel like that's such a crucial point, because people don't realize how important it is to unlearn a few things. Like, you're so geared into thinking it's all about just learning, but like there's a lot of shit you've got to get rid of. And it's a good job on your part to highlight that there is shit that you need to get rid of. To make space for the good shit, you've got to get rid of the bad shit. So yeah, that's awesome. I actually really fucked with the name. When I connected with you, I was like, oh man, that's a pretty badass name. The Let's Detox.
Oh,
the name.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I fucked with the name, like the handle. Like,
okay.
when I read that at first, I was like, a lot of IQ must have gone into that.
And honestly, a lot of people ask me, like, how did you come up with this? I was just sitting, I was like, oh, detox sounds good. And I was like, okay, I changed my handle. It was just that. So, like, yeah.
So just to spell it out, it's Let's. How do you spell it? Just spell it out in case people are just listening to this.
LETS _detox.
TALKS.
DTALKS.
There we go. Alright, Divya Upadhyay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us and tuning in. Make sure you check out her content, and I don't think you even need to go search it. She's probably going to be on your For You page or your, on your Explore page.
Some funny problem videos.
Comes up with really good shit. Thank you so much for joining us over here once again, and I wish you the very best for all the content that you put up.
Wish you the same. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, you. Thank you for watching the Chronic Nirvana podcast.
And if you aren't following us on Instagram yet, what are you waiting for?
What are they waiting for?
Make sure you do right now. Like, before you stop everything you're doing and follow us on Instagram right now at Chronic Nirvana.
100%. And if you have any friends that would like to be a part of the podcast, has an interesting story to say, please let us know in the comment section below or on Instagram.
And if you feel like you yourself have an interesting story to share and want to be a part of the podcast, make sure you DM us on Instagram, or just leave your suggestions down in the comment section below on YouTube or on Instagram or wherever we put out the podcast. Honestly,
100%. And if you don't have the time to watch a Chronic Nirvana episode, please do check out the Chronic Nirvana clips on YouTube and get yourself a new job.
So this is Nikhil,
and I'm Dakshay,
and this is Chronic Nirvana.